Hi guys, this is Harter. I'm going to be talking about Shiping 7, how the deck works and how to play it. This is a deck that I've been playing for a while now, and it's modified from a Japanese player who played it. And he played it all the way up to Bazi level, and he's currently around 40 zheng. Let's get to it. Yes, you can see the card here, right here. It's a version 2 Zhuge Liang with skill 士兵八阵, and you can see it's version 2 without the attribute here, 天地 nor Ren. It's 3/9 with a fence and costing 1.5 orbs. I'm gonna be first going through the overall plan of the deck because that's really important, because each different deck has a different plan. This deck is really, in essence, a defensive deck. It's like Liu Xing Xiaoqiao in past versions, the 2/5 Xiaoqiao, which played lots of generals and lots of fences and archers. But the difference is that we are not defending using fences. We're going to be defending using 士兵八阵, the skill, which is very good defensively. What it does is that the targets who get hit by it, they move towards random destinations on the map for a short duration, about 2.5 to 4.5 counts, depending on their intelligence. And we're going to be combining this 士兵八阵 with flanking from 2 of our spears when the opponent comes down. If the opponent comes down to the center, we're going to be flanked on the left and right, like so, with Jian Yong and Zhou Chang. If the opponent comes down on the right side, we'll just flank like so. And on the left side, we'll just flank on the other side. So the idea here is that it's really a defensive maneuver, because if the opponent comes down to the center and we flank on the 2 sides, then the opponent is most likely going to send 2 units back to defend, to block our units and kill off our units. And that means there's 2 less attackers for us to have to deal with. And then we have 5 units versus his 3 units left if he's playing 5 cards. That's basically how it works. If the opponent chooses to ignore our flankers, then we're very happy to just trade the damage, because that's one of the reasons why we're playing spears in the first place as the flankers, because spears deal the most damage towards the enemy fort. If our spears are unmolested for like 15 counts, then they're going to deal a lot of damage before the opponent realizes it. Yes, against decks which are even more defensive than ours, right, then we're just going to transform into an aggressive deck with lots of units, and we're going to play Zhen Yuan in that case. For example, versus Xiao Qiao deck. Yes, we'll probably have to do that. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is the generals of the deck. This has gone through many modifications, but the basic idea is that you want some spears to flank. I already said why I'm using spears to flank, because they deal a lot of damage, and they are more resistant towards the units that are going to block them. For example, if I flank with these 2 spears, who's the opponent going to defend with? Most likely the opponent is going to try and defend using horses, and horses are not that great at stopping spears, because if my Zhou Chang is at the edge, why is this like that? What is happening? Oh my god. Alright, yes, correct. So if my Zhou Chang is at the edge, he can just suddenly come out and thrust at the opponent's horse, and that's something the opponent really can't afford. So it's much more difficult for the opponent to defend our spears using his fastest units, which puts the opponent in a tough position, basically. After having our flanking spears, we also want some more spears to defend, because when we shipping 八阵 on enemy horses, they'll be running around aimlessly, and we want to be there with our spears to counter them. It's important to have one horse at least, because we want to have at least some mobility of force. For example, when we want to force through some damage, and we are flanked with Jian Yong and Zhou Chang, then we can turn on Shen Shu from a defensive position and move up to support our two flankers, like so. It's also useful against archers in general, to prevent the opponent from running amok with archers. Yep, basically that's it. We don't really need many defensive skills to activate other than shipping, because it's just such a flexible, powerful card, as long as we manage to keep Zhuge Liang alive. Luo Lei I've found can be useful in certain situations to supplement shipping 八阵, and Jian Yong is threatening, because he threatens lots of damage in the last 30 counts when he flanks. Yep, I'm going to be talking now about the advisors of the deck. I've chosen the same advisors as the Japanese player originally used, which are Jiang Wei and Pang Tong. Jiang Wei originally wasn't in. I didn't want to play Jiang Wei as advisor, because I wanted the 4-4 version 2 Jiang Wei. Just because he's 4 power, that's really powerful. However, he's actually really important in the deck, because one activation of Jiang Wei's Ao-Yi can just stop a mass power up from the opponent, and that's like trading an Ao-Yi for 6 mana, which is not too bad. And then it also hinders the opponent from stopping our flankers also. Yes, Pang Tong is here mainly for his Bingli Zhenyuan, which we are going to use against decks which are even more defensive than ours. For example, Qing Guo and Xiao Qiao. Sometimes 铁手连环 can also be used to surprise the opponent, or when 冰郡连环 is not very effective, such as versus Shen Shu, because they can still rush within the AoE of 冰郡连环when they turn on their Shen Shu. Yep. The next thing I'm going to be talking about is the deployment of our units at the start. So let's move away the advisors for now. I like to... for this deck we have one fence, and I like to put the fence as close to our fort as possible, like so. This makes it more difficult for the opponent to destroy our fort at the start of the battle, and we can keep our fence... Did I say destroy our fort? I mean destroy our fence, yes. So we have 3 ambush units to place as we like, depending on where the opponent expects our ambushers to be. Then we don't want our ambushers to be there. We have... I usually place the units in the center. This is more of an illusion that we're going to be attacking through the center, whereas where we're actually going to be attacking through the sides. Yep, basically that's how it rolls. Something like this is probably what I do. From the opponent's perspective, he will only be looking at... he can only see Fu Qian, Xia Hu Yueji, and Zhuge Liang. So there's like the illusion of attacking through the center, and hopefully we can sneak one hit in with Meng Da against less experienced players. Yes, in the opening we just want to protect our fences and any towers that we are granted. Alright, now I'm going to talk about some game situations when you'll encounter when playing this deck.